What if the war in Burkina Faso has never truly been about terrorism? What if the real struggle lies beneath the surface, a battle not of ideology, but of control, where imperial interests cloak themselves in the language of security and chaos? Imagine a scenario where every explosion, every drone strike, and every act of violence is part of a much larger effort, not to bring peace, but to keep a nation shackled in conflict so its gold can be extracted quietly, enriching foreign powers, while the local people remain poor and voiceless. This isn't just theory. It's the untold story behind Burkina Faso's painful journey through war, neglect, and remarkably, a new beginning. By 2025, despite years of violence and the withdrawal of Western mining companies, Burkina Faso's gold output didn't collapse. It rose. That single fact challenges everything we've been told. For decades, the country was seen as a dangerous frontier, too unstable to manage, too poor to protect itself. Western corporations flooded in when it was profitable and left. Just as quickly when the situation became unstable. They claimed it was due to rising insecurity, but the truth is far more unsettling. They didn't leave because the gold was gone. They left because the people of Burkina Faso began asking uncomfortable questions about ownership, justice, and sovereignty. In the shadows of abandoned machines and shuttered tunnels, something unexpected began. A quiet awakening. What many thought was the death of Burkina Faso's gold industry was actually the start of a bold reclamation. This wasn't just about reactivating mines, it was about seizing control. In 2025, the government announced that gold production would rise by more than 4%, reaching 55.7 metric tons, a small number to some, but one that carries immense weight in the world economy. More importantly, it revealed that this resurgence wasn't fueled by new discoveries or foreign investments. It came from national resolve and strategic action. Two mines tell the story best, the Yuga mine in the south and the Kiaka mine in the southeast. Both had been left behind when foreign investors fled. But now, Yuga is humming again, revived in late 2024 by Seoul Resources International Latitique. Local workers have returned, machinery moves, drills dig, and production has resumed. Kiaka is not far behind. Though it hasn't restarted yet, all signs point to a major comeback by the end of 2025. These mines aren't just holes in the ground. They're symbols of resistance. They are examples of what happens when a nation decides to look inward, to work with what it already has, and to stand on its own feet. But gold alone doesn't build a future. The deeper transformation began when the state under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who took office in 2022, began rewriting the rules of the game. He realized what many before him ignored. Natural wealth is worthless without control. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso didn't just reform policies, it rebuilt the system. A new mining code gave the government more than just oversight. It gave it a stake. No longer could foreign firms operate in secret or whisk away profits through offshore accounts. They now had to work with the state as equal partners, share revenues transparently, and invest directly in the national budget and the Mineral Wealth Fund. The timing of these reforms was critical. Western companies were already pulling out. Spooked by rising anti-imperialist sentiment and security concerns, Burkina Faso didn't push them away. It closed the door behind them and laid new groundwork before the next wave could arrive. In this new environment, even global players like Canada's Fortuna Silver Mines decided to exit, selling their stake in the Yaramoko mine to a local firm for $130 million. Officially, they cited declining reserves. But insiders knew the truth. Burkina Faso was no longer a playground for unchecked profit. Of course, not everyone applauded. Western media painted the reforms as dangerous nationalism or predicted economic decline. But on the ground, in the villages and towns where people had watched their gold disappear for years while they remained in poverty, the sentiment was different. They saw justice. For them, it wasn't just about money. It was about dignity. It was about a country finally standing up to say, "Our resources are ours." Yet, this newfound confidence also brings a deeper, more complex question. Can a country long exploited, long trapped in violence, truly break free? Can it build an economy rooted in fairness, self-reliance and sovereignty? The odds are steep, and the attacks have not stopped. But what's emerging in Burkina Faso today is more than a resurgence. It's a statement, a declaration that even amid conflict and crisis, a nation can choose to rise, not just in resistance, but with purpose and vision. And maybe that's why the instability still lingers. Because this shift threatens more than just economic interests. It threatens an entire system built on exploitation. A stable, sovereign Burkina Faso, one that controls its wealth and writes its own future, is dangerous to those who profit from instability. The use of landmines, foreign-trained insurgents, and modern warfare isn't coincidence. These are tools meant to maintain disorder, to prevent nations like Burkina Faso from enforcing the laws that would allow them to build hospitals, schools, and infrastructure from their own resources. But what happens when a country refuses to stay broken? What happens when it restarts its engines, rewrites its laws, and declares no more? That's what we're witnessing now, a steady, silent revolution, not one of blood, but of belief. The belief that Africa can rise on its own terms. Burkina Faso is not just reopening its mines, it's reclaiming them. And if it succeeds, it could mark a turning point not only for its people, but for an entire continent. A sign that the age of exploitation may finally be giving way to a new era, one defined not by plunder but by power. The power to choose, the power to own, the power to rise.